Today's verse is much shorter than what we've had and carries on to finish the sentence begun in verse 4. Apograpsastai syn Mariam, te emneasteumene autor, use enkuo. So Joseph has gone up to Nazareth, apograpsastai, to be registered, sun with Maria, te emneasteumene, his betrothed, or the person betrothed autor to him. Use means being, enkuo, pregnant. We have that fourth use of the apograph root that I mentioned in verse 1. Here it is in the aorist infinitive rather than the present. The aorist is more defined than the present, and it may be that here we have the specific instance of Joseph getting registered rather than the general process. Mary is named as Mariam rather than Mary. She's called this 25 times in the New Testament and 13 in Luke, with 1 in Acts. Contrast that with 29 uses of Maria, only 4 of which are in Luke and 1 in Acts. And you can see that he has a clear preference for the indeclinable form of her name. She's also described as emneasteumene, which is a passive participle meaning betrothed or espoused. This verb, mnesteuo, is quite unusual. There are 13 uses in the New Testament, and they are almost all middle or passive, referring to a woman being betrothed to a man. This gives us something of the cultural context of marriage in the ancient world, where a woman is given to her husband by the male figure with authority over her, rather than getting engaged in any more equal sense. It's notable that Plutarch doesn't use this particular term at all in his advice to the bride and groom, but does use it on his text on the virtues of women. We have a second participle extending the description of Mary. It's a periphrastic phrase, which means that instead of using the participle formed from the verb to be pregnant, you use an auxiliary participle, being, and the adjective, pregnant. The adjective looks like it has a masculine ending with that omega, but it is in fact to termination. These are adjectives which only have separate endings for masculine and feminine versus neuter. And it's a category that usually applies to compound adjectives, such as the one we have here with the prefix "m". This is a New Testament hapax, which means it's only used once in the New Testament. But it does also occur in Sirach. Matthew, by contrast, uses a different construction. He says, en gastri echusa, having in stomach. So you can see here again some of what makes Luke, Luke, and this is an interesting text to read.